Today on the SN95 Owner's Guide, we talk about a relic from way back in 1988, the B303 Camshaft. Hello and welcome. This is the SN95 Owner's Guide, the series where we talk about SN95 Mustangs, V6, 5-liter, Cobra, and beyond. It is 2018 and the 5-liter Windsor engine has been out of production for nearly 2 decades, and I'm consistently surprised to see legacy parts continue to show up in online discussion and performance builds. And perhaps no part has been surprising is the ubiquitous B303 camshaft, and let's talk about why it's so surprising. First, what is a B303 camshaft? Known by its formal name of M6250-B303, the B303 camshaft is the earliest in the line of alphabet cams offered by Ford Motorsport, which later became Ford Racing and is now Ford Performance. These cams claim to offer improved performance for small block Ford roller engines and were aimed mainly at EFI cars, with the B cam being speed density friendly, which means non-mass air engines. They are all single pattern camshafts and, like Flowmaster mufflers, have become somewhat of a fixture in 5-liter lore. The camshaft specs for this piece are 284 degrees of duration on both the intake and the exhaust and 480 lift with a 1.6 rocker. The stock 5-liter cam is 266 degrees of duration and 444 lift. Knowing the basics of camshafts, this additional lift should add more top-end horsepower and a more interesting idle sound. While the increased duration would shift power peaks higher in the rev range, it would also negatively impact the overall torque production and your idle quality as well as drivability. A bit about my personal experiences with the B303 cam. There I was, back in 2004, a young guy with my first V8 Mustang, the 1995 GTS, and like you, I was looking for many ways to hot rod it. On the local forum classifieds, I noticed an advertisement for a used Ford Racing B303 camshaft. $80, which is about 60 USD in today's money. This sounded like a really great opportunity to get into a performance cam for cheap. I was curious what kind of effect this cam would have on my otherwise stock 5-liter, and the internet not being the vast technical resource that it is today, I opened my well-worn copy of the 2003 Ford Racing catalog to try and learn more. Aside from giving me a brief overview of the specs, I didn't learn much. So I dialed up the $1.50 a minute Ford Racing tech line and spoke to a very southern sounding representative. I outlined my stock 1995 Mustang and asked how the B303 cam would work, and looking back, the response was comical. He started laughing at me for what seemed a solid minute. I was paying $1.50 to be laughed at. After a moment, he calmed down and said, in a very southern way of speaking, on stock heads, the only thing that cam will do is kill 20 foot-pounds of torque and give you about 2 horsepower up top just before floating the valves. He then recommended that I don't buy one as it would physically make my car slower. Looking to get some more background, I asked what would it take to make this camshaft work well in my car. He paused and basically said the only way that I might get more horsepower out of the cam would be to install a full GT40 top-end kit with GT40X aluminum heads, and he cautioned that I would never get my bottom-end torque back. So of course, that placed my B303 camshaft purchase on a definite hold, but there came a chance to try one in real life about 3 years later. Story time number 2. Don't worry, we'll get to real data after this bit. We had a project car called Drag Queen. This is an interesting story all in itself, but it was a fresh 5-liter build in a Fox for a friend of sorts. The basic details are 10-to-1 compression, ported E7 heads, a ported stock intake, cold air intake, exhaust, and you guessed it, a B303 cam. The idle sound was great, and the B cam worked well with the speed density, as advertised. But once we got to testing it on the street, it was a dog. Even with 410s, the Ford Racing guy's loss of torque warning was plainly obvious. Just before redline, it did pull just a tick, but it fell off once you made the shift and had to climb back out of the gutless zone. At the time, we had 2 other stock cammed Foxes kicking around, and compared to those, they ran much stronger accelerating by comparison. I truly felt like I had dodged a bullet way back in 2004. Story time all over, let's get down to real data. We'll be referencing data from the book 5-liter Ford Dyno Test by Richard Holdender if you'd like to pick up a copy for reference or verify the following data. In Richard's book published in 2000, he spoke about the B303 camshaft as a solution for a time when no other options existed. Nonetheless, he built up a combo that gave the B303 the best possible chance for success. A GT40 intake manifold, a set of trick flow, twisted wedge aluminum heads mated to a set of shorty headers. and he ran this versus a stock cam in the same engine. The B cam managed to pick up 7 peak horsepower, but 0 peak torque. The shape of the dyno curves tells a much different story. From below 4,000 RPM, the stalker actually outperformed the B cam. It wasn't until 4,800 RPM that the B cam made any meaningful difference. This, of course, is with a great set of trick flow heads. With the OEM iron heads, the results would be far more disappointing. Richard summarized the B cam test results as, for a drag racing application, the B303 would surely improve acceleration, but at the cost of drivability and low speed power. There are a number of cam grinds available today that would not require this kind of trade-off. The time for the B303 cam has come and gone. Guys, it's time to put this old relic to bed. Hang it on the wall and display it as a nostalgia piece, because as a legitimate performance part and the effort to swap one in, this one is a dodo bird. Don't get me wrong, and if you've got one and you love it, you've probably already tuned out and unsubscribed. But if you truly want performance, look to something else. And that statement can apply universally to any of the Alphabet cams. I love the sound of a B303 in the morning, but they are old tech, and not good tech, just old tech. What do you think of the Alphabet cams? Do you have a favorite one of your own? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, later.